You know, roads are really the arteries of a region, aren't they? They carry its lifeblood, all the people, the goods, the ideas. And in Hong Kong's new territories, there's one concept that has defined its connection to the world for over 100 years, the circular road, or the環迴公路. This is the story of two of those loops, built in totally different eras, for two completely different Hong Kongs.
So, how do you connect a territory? I mean, that was the big question facing British administrators way back in 1898. They had just leased this huge, rugged, and totally disconnected landscape. The solution they came up with would end up shaping the new territories for the next century.
And this timeline, wow, it really lays out the whole story for us. It kicks off with the very practical needs of a colonial government and brings us all the way to the demands of a modern, high-speed megacity. The roads themselves, they're like a history book, marking the evolution from just simple access tracks to these complex multi-lane expressways.
All right, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with that original vision, trace the construction of its two great arms, then witness the moment it all just became obsolete. After that, we'll contrast the old with the new before seeing how the modern loop was finally completed.
Okay, so picture this. It's 1898. The British have this new, massive territory. But really, it's a territory in name only. It's just a bunch of villages and market towns, and you could mostly only get to them by sea or these really rough footpaths. To actually govern the place, they had to connect it. And the grand plan? A single massive環迴公路, a circular road.
And this quote from the colonial secretary at the time, Stuart Lockhart, it just cuts right to the heart of it. This wasn't about building scenic drives for a Sunday cruise. No way. This was about control. It was about moving troops, police, and administrators around quickly. It was about making the new territories governable and, ultimately profitable.
And just look at this map. It really gives you a sense of the scale of the challenge they were up against. The idea was to build a loop starting from Sham Shui Po and Kowloon, go east through the mountains, and then swing west along the coast to come back around. For its time, this was an absolutely monumental undertaking.
So the first piece of this giant puzzle was the eastern leg. It was first imagined as the frontier road, and it really was the first great artery pushed right into the heart of this new territory.
And that artery was the legendary Dapo Gonglu, or Tai Po Road. As a Chantong Gangdao, a traditional main road, it was a true pioneer. I mean, before this, the idea of large-scale road engineering on this side of the Kowloon Hills was pretty much unheard of.
This image just gives you a feel for the sheer effort involved. We're talking about construction with no modern machinery. It was teams of laborers building embankments across tidal flats and constructing these beautiful stone bridges, like the one over the Xingmen River, literally piece by piece. So let's look at the specs for a second. It was just 4.2 meters wide. I mean, that's barely enough room for two carts to pass each other. Its purpose was officially for administration and control, but it also had this crucial economic job, getting cattle imported from across the border. And the route wasn't a straight line at all. It hugged the terrain, winding its way through the hills and valleys.
So while Tai Po Road was conquering the eastern mountains, an even more ambitious project was getting underway to complete the loop by taming that long western coastline.
And this was Aoyang Gonglu, Castle Peak Road. It still holds the title of Hong Kong's longest road, and just like its eastern twin, it was a foundational Trentong Gandao, a traditional main road, that would go on to define how the entire Western New Territories developed. 51.5 kilometers. Just to put that into perspective, that is more than double the length of Tai Po Road. This wasn't just another road, it was a huge statement of engineering intent, a massive project for its time.
And with its completion in 1920, the original circular road was born. For the very first time, you could actually drive in a massive loop all the way from Kowloon, up the east, across the north, and then back down the west coast. This huge arc connected all the key market towns like Tuanmun, Yuanlong, and Shengxi, and it fundamentally changed life in the region.
Now, for 50 years, this system of two-lane roads served the new territories just fine. But then, the 1970s happened. The post-war population was absolutely booming, and the government launched the ambitious Newtown program. And all of a sudden, those winding, scenic old routes, they weren't lifelines anymore, they were bottlenecks. And here's the crucial point. The old roads were built to control a rural territory. The new roads had to serve a rapidly urbanizing one. The entire philosophy of road building had to shift from just simple connection to high-speed transit. The solution was a completely new vision for the circular road. Not just a single road, but a whole system of interconnected, high-speed expressways. This was 9号幹線, Route 9, the modern New Territories Circular Road.
And this thing was built in stages, a whole series of massive engineering projects that spanned decades. It all started with the infamous Twenmun Road back in 1978, then came the Tolo Highway and Fanling Highway in the 80s, and later on it was integrated with the Shingmun tunnels. Each piece was another link in this new, high-capacity chain.
Okay, so how do these two great circular road systems, one from the 1920s, one from the 21st century, actually stack up against each other? Let's break down the key differences.
Well, the contrast is pretty stark. The Shirkeji Suk, or the design speed, it basically doubled. The system went from a single carriageway to these huge dual 3- or 4-lane motorways, which massively increased the Jolton-Lyoyang, or traffic capacity. But this came with a trade-off. The Haiking Guanji and Jachi, the incredible scenic value of those old coastal roads, was sacrificed for the raw efficiency of modern engineering.
This bar chart really visualizes the most critical difference. We are talking about a fundamental shift in what the road was for. It wasn't about getting to the next village anymore. It was all about getting from a new town to the urban core as fast and as efficiently as you possibly could. Speed was absolutely everything.
And so after decades and decades of construction, the vision for a new type of circular road was finally a reality, stitching together all those separate expressway projects into one seamless, integrated system. This map shows the final result. What was once a collection of remote villages, a journey that would take hours, is now a fully integrated part of the Hong Kong metropolis. Route 9 didn't just connect the new territories, it completely absorbed them into the city's high-speed metabolism. It was really the culmination of a century of engineering and ambition.
From a 14-foot wide track built for colonial administrators to a 70-kilometer multi-lane expressway, the circular road really tells the story of the new territories itself. It is adapted and transformed once before in a huge way. So the final question is, what challenges will force it to transform all over again?